my topic is really positive parenting, and it's good that we are being sensitized now to just how traumatizing corporal punishment is. You can read the stories, read the statuses, read the comments. You can tell people are still very traumatized from the experiences they had as children. How come we turned out okay? Nobody turns out okay from violence. And I love how a lot of people are explaining that I turned out okay because of people who were showing me love, people who were there to guide and support me. It is not the assault that shaped people into successful being. It really wasn't. So talking about positive parenting, we do deal with defined behavior in our homes. We deal with disobedience. We deal with undesirable traits that we would love to see change in our children. So if we're not going to beat them, what do we do? I would love to share 10 tips of positive parenting on dealing with defined behavior. So number one is to, first of all, connect with your children. What does connection look like? There are children who, when they're going through a difficult time, they don't talk, and you'd see them, they're angry and they're crying and they're just sitting there. Connection looks like sitting with your child in silence while they cry it out. It looks like giving them a hug and just letting them go through what they're feeling and telling them that, I'm here for you. I'm here if you want to talk. I'm here if you just want to cry it out. We can go and have ice cream, or we can go watch our favorite movie, or we can read a book together. Connect first without correcting, okay? Number two is to listen, and I mean really listen. Listen to your child and remove yourself from the situation. It's not about you. For example, my children have been bickering a lot. They've been fighting a lot. Sibling rivalry is one of the things I've been dealing with a lot lately. And I've started going to work. I used to be a stay-home mom, but I work now. But what I've noticed that there's a lot of sibling rivalry going on between my children. And as I spoke with my eldest, she said to me, she feels like I love her younger sister more. And funny enough, as I was tucking my younger one in bed, she said she feels nobody loves her. And I asked and listened. It was really painful. And the first reaction was, that's not true. How could you say something like that? But I didn't say that. Remove yourself. They're not talking about you. They're not talking about your parenting. They're not judging you for your parenting. They're talking about what they are going through. So listen, it's not about you. Number three, one-on-one attention is really important. Whether you have one child or you have more than one child. If you're living with your partner, you tend to spend a lot of time with your partner and you forget your child. Have one-on-one time with your child to listen to them, to give them your undivided attention, to do things that they love doing, or things that you've loved doing with that child. My oldest child is much older than my youngest, so we spent a lot of time and so she feels like I don't love her as much as I love the younger one, because all the time that I used to spend with her is divided now between her and this other one, and she feels it's unfair. And so one-on-one time really reduces squabbles like that, the rivalry between siblings and the comparison and, your child just falling through the cracks, and we need to spend one-on-one time. And number four is praise good behavior. We are very good at catching our children when they're doing something wrong, and it ends up feeling like that's the only time we notice them, when they're doing something wrong. And rightly, they would start to feel like maybe they're not good at anything. Can we not make our children feel like that? Let's catch them doing something great and compliment them and praise them and reward them even for it. And number five, have family meetings, weekly family meetings, to talk about the week. How has it been? See how everyone is doing. Rehash things that you want to rehash with them, things that you've not been happy about. And you'd be surprised, there are things that they have not been happy about that you've been doing, and that's been causing friction in the house. And when it's probably you. So weekly family meetings are very important. Who has important events happening in their lives this week? Someone is going for a soccer game for the first time, they're nervous about something, they're anxious about something they have to do or something they have to attend, and maybe you have an important deadline that's just taking all of your energy and time, and you would like them to really help you this week by being on their best behavior or doing their chores on time. That's the time to talk about what's going on in our lives and how can we help each other. It will help everyone feel like they have a voice. They'll feel seen, and you'll all feel like a unit working together to support each other in life. Isn't that what family is? So family meetings are very important with that. It's time to also sit down and say, guys, hey, this week we're going to be struggling for a bit. So I'm going to need you to cut down on 1, 2, 3, or we're going to be just eating the skimpy meals for now. Family meetings are very important, okay? And number 6 is set clear boundaries. Sometimes maybe it's not defined or disrespectful behavior that we're seeing in our children. Sometimes they don't know what your expectations are of them. So make sure that your children at least know what you expect of them in your household, and that they know what needs to happen. They have the rules. They know that when you come back from school, it's time to take off the uniform, put it in the basket for auntie to wash it or whatever. They have to know the rules. And as you set the rules or the expectations or the boundaries, make sure you have their full attention, that they're not watching TV or being distracted by one thing or another. Have eye contact. Say what you're saying. Make sure they hear you. Make sure that you're all clear. Set clear boundaries. Let them know that as soon as the sun goes down, no more cartoons on the TV. And that's the rule every day, okay? Make sure that it's very clear to them. Make sure that they know that after this particular show on TV, because maybe they can't tell time, after this time, it's time to go brush our teeth, put on our pajamas, and get in bed. And make sure that you're consistent with it. And number 7, act on consequences. Just follow through, and follow through immediately. Don't punish them for something they did last week. Do it immediately, okay? And let them know that that's what's happening. You know that we're not supposed to be having gadgets at the table. I see it's distracting you from eating, and you take it, and then that's it. You don't say much. When it's time to act on a consequence, it's not time to give a lecture or talk a lot. Just take the gadget, you know the rules, put it away. They didn't tidy up their toys after their play date. If you don't tidy up, I'm taking the toys and you won't have them for the rest of the day. If you take sweets from the closets without talking to a grown-up, you're not having sweets for the entire week. Take them away. That's it. It's not time for a lecture. It's time to act, okay? So always follow through. And number 8, model grace. As adults, we have bad days. We get disappointed, we get frustrated and angry, and we don't feel like laughing, and sometimes we're very unpleasant to be around. How would you like someone to treat you when you're not at your best? Can we extend the same grace to our children? Because they go through a lot as well. And unfortunately for them, their minds, their brains have not yet developed enough to know how to deal with certain emotions. They're too intense for them. They're too complicated for them, and they need someone to help them to decode what's going on inside of them. So give them a bit of grace. They're not going to be smiley, happy, compliant, obedient, hippity skippity kids every single day. They get disappointed. They get angry too. They get hangry as well. You know, you get those days. Afford them grace. Model to them what it means to show empathy and patience, and that you still trust them, that that moment does not define who they are, okay? Number 9, co-regulate. Co-regulate. When your child is dysregulated, they're yelling and screaming, that is not the time to teach. It's time to co-regulate. What do I mean by that? Apparently, our brains only get fully developed at age 25. So even your teenage child, they can't regulate by themselves. So you need to still help them to regulate their bodies, to regulate their minds, help them name the emotion that they're going through, and help them to transcend the emotion. And whether that's deep breathing, going for a walk, reading a book, or sitting in silence together, help them to learn how to code, how to regulate. Uh, teach them strategies of calming down. Then you can teach when they're calm, because then they'll hear you. Because when someone is angry, frustrated, and they've been yelling, and you try to communicate, they don't hear anything, they just see red. So co-regulate. Okay. Number 10, reparent yourself. Let's reparent ourselves. We've all been through the most, and we need to reparent yourself. What does that look like? It looks like right now, everyone is being triggered, right? Everyone is remembering that auntie that used to beat them for everything. They're remembering when they were beat so hard, they got scars and it hurt, and it felt so unfair. Why do I get to get beaten like I'm a donkey? We've all been through that. Reparenting looks like, it's okay. That was then. It was really painful. Cry if you need to cry, but then say to yourself, I am now safe. I am now in a safe place. I'm okay. And you're now an adult. Tell your inner child it's okay. You are safe now. It wasn't your fault. You're a great human being. Whatever you need to tell yourself. Learn them positive affirmations and repeat them to yourself. We get triggered by our children. That is for sure. Children trigger us. Any relationship can be very triggering, but the relationship with our children often catches us off guard. When your child is being defiant to you, it triggers you. That's why you act with so much anger. You get, why? I told you to do 1, 2, 3. Why does it do that to you? Because it takes you to a time when your voice was muted, you were silenced, you were unheard, you got angry and frustrated, felt unseen, felt disrespected and violated. And it's very easy for you to go right back to that place when a child says no to you or when they just won't listen to you, right? But tell yourself you're safe, you're okay, and take a deep breath and revisit the situation with your child. I hope these tips work, and I hope that we will all find healing from our childhood traumas. There is another way of handling defiant behavior. It's called positive parenting. It's compassionate discipline. And if you want to hear more content on this, like and follow and share this comment, and let's talk about what we're doing. What are you doing in your home to do things differently? What tip or what strategy are you going to try this week? A new week is starting. We're going back to work and school on Monday. What are you going to try differently? Please share with me in the comments. I would love to hear your stories.